Hi guys, happy Monday. Welcome back to our second BuzzFCA podcast.
Yeah, we'd like to thank all of our listeners and all of our viewers for coming back to watch the second episode. For our new viewers, my name is David, and for those who are unfamiliar with FCA, we are the Filipino Cultural Association at the University of Maryland College Park. And the BuzzFCA podcast itself is a podcast created by general body for the general body.
Yeah.
And for our podcast specifically, we dive into topics such as what FCA is, and for this episode specifically, we're going to be talking about sexual identity.
Yeah. And sex education.
We love sex.
Yeah. Oh wait.
So for this podcast, we are recording it. So this is the first time you guys are seeing our faces. Yeah. So to introduce ourselves again, my name is David.2. I am one of the co-hosts for the BuzzFCA podcast.
I'm Nazz. I am also a co-host for the BuzzFCA podcast.
Hi guys, my name is Marierose. I'm the host of the BuzzFCA podcast.
Host.
She a whole host, guys.
Hostess. If you haven't watched our first episode, please go get out of this video and watch our first episode. No, I'm just kidding.
Okay, we actually have a card that's somewhere up there that you guys can click on. So click it. I don't know which side it is, but it's somewhere.
We got really great feedback from you guys from the first episode. We're so glad that you guys enjoyed it. We enjoyed it. We had a great time. And we'd love if you guys could comment down in the first episode or in this episode what you guys like for us to do next time or how we can improve to better our podcast. Because we are the general body and we're making it for you, the general body. Thanks again, and we hope you guys continue to watch our future podcast.
Can't you guys believe it's already December? It's like the 1st of December already. It's
oh my
crazy.
God, that's crazy.
It's actually insane.
Oh my God.
It's December 1st.
And it's a Wednesday.
Yeah.
You know how there's 4 Wednesdays a month? That's crazy.
Is there really 4 Wednesdays a month?
Speaking of Thanksgiving, because we just came from break, how was everyone's Thanksgiving?
It was...
Oh no, you go first, Nazz. Go ahead.
It was good. I wish it was longer because I spent time with family and friends and it was great and all, but I wish I had more me time.
Mm-hmm.
Time to just de-stress.
Yeah. Along the lines, I think the first 3 days of Thanksgiving break, I didn't really relax because I was working on all the other BuzzFCA videos. So if you guys want to check that out, you guys should also check that out too.
Yeah.
But it was alright. It was pretty good. I also wish it was longer.
Yes.
What about you?
My Thanksgiving break was pretty decent. I had turkey and all the usual Thanksgiving stuff with my family, which is really nice because I haven't seen my mom in a while. But yeah, I mean, it wasn't anything special. It was a little short. I didn't really get work done, so. But it's okay. We're here now. We're
vibing.
Making content for BuzzFCA.
Speaking of the topic, we'll be focusing on, sex education and self-identity. I chose this topic because it's one of the advocacy projects that I'm doing for one of my classes, so why not incorporate it into our podcast? So I like to thank Professor Jade Olson out there. She's awesome. She said we can do anything we want, so this is what I'm doing. But for FCA, they're very diverse with their own people, especially towards the LGBTQ community or the Alphabet Mafia.
Alphabet Mafia.
As they like to be called. But, I myself and David, we're not part of that community, but we're always interested in educating ourselves in their community. So why not actually take the time with this podcast episode to actually talk about it.
So I am a part of the Alphabet Mafia, as you say. I don't know if everybody likes that, but I like that name. It's fun. And I can't speak for everybody's experiences. I am not the sole speaker for the Alphabet Mafia, but I will speak of my experiences and how being queer and I'm still trying to figure it out. I might be non-binary and I might be a lesbian. Oh, I mean, I know I like girls, but there's also non-binary people, and I'm not quite sure how non-binary lesbians work, like if that works. I know people use that label, but
Yeah.
it's still all new to me.
Yeah, it's a learning process for everyone.
Yeah,
For sure.
yeah. And sometimes like personally, labels might confuse me.
Mm-hmm.
So like I'm just me.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's part of your identity.
So I do have some questions that we can start off the conversation for us. Just to start off and get our our conversation rolling. The first question I actually have is, how important do you think your sexual identity impacted your perspective of others?
As a straight male, and especially being in FCA, it was kind of like I was kind of the minority, because it's actually really amazing to see so many people in FCA were part of the LGBTQ community. So much diversity in terms of like people's sexual identity, and it's really great to see like a cultural organization bring all these people together. And for me, since I'm not part of that community itself, and being surrounded by other people, it's made me a lot more open-minded to like new experiences and new perspectives. So in terms of like human interaction, it's been very eye-opening, and I've learned a lot from a lot of the people I met at FCA. So yeah.
I mean, yeah. Gonna go nasty.
Oh.
We'll just go down the line.
I was gonna say that's so sweet. I'm glad
Yeah, of course.
being gay has helped you.
Yeah, go Nazz! Yeah, go Nazz!
Yes.
Yeah, and that's awesome. Yeah, I agree. FCA, it's so wild because being gay is the majority, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's totally a new experience for me too. And fun fact, the Philippines has been ranked one of the most gay-friendly nations in the world. It's actually like the 10th most friendly. And so that's why personally our FCA is very gay. That's what I think.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Top 10 in the nation.
I mean, I'm also a straight woman, but once I was immersed into the other sexualities and having my other friends be part of that community, it wasn't hard to accept them, because it was like, oh, okay, I have like family members that are like that, so it's not something new. So it wasn't as hard to like accept it and be like judgmental about it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And speaking of how my sexual identity has impacted my perspective of others, I think it's made me more open-minded as well. It's another part of my identity that makes me a minority, and like that in like outside of the safe bubble of college.
Mm-hmm.
And like being Asian, being a woman, being like genderqueer / non-binary, and liking girls as a girl, and then like it's a part of my intersectionality. There you go.
For sure.
Yeah, it's like just another thing I have to battle, and that internal battle and struggle, it makes me value and appreciate everyone else's struggles. Like, you don't know what's going on in people. They could be smiling and stuff, but they could be going through some sad shit inside.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so I think I just am more aware and more respected. Like, I respect people more, and like acknowledge that they could be going through something. So not to take anything too personally.
Actually, when one of my sources for this topic, this article about like the queer education in the Deep South, they're very not accepting about the LGBTQ community, because it shows like a huge difference between us, like in the East Coast and the Deep South, how they're not as accepting as we are, because every student that the author had to do like research on, everyone had like a negative experience, and how no one was allowed to talk about like the LGBTQ community at all. So I'm just thinking about it now, like, oh wow, we're a really diverse part of America, especially how, you know, accepting we are from everyone's sexuality, and not thinking of it like they committed like a crime, or having like, I guess, hard-headed people being like, that's not right, what's wrong with you? But I mean, there's like some people here, but not as much, you know, in the Deep South.
Actually, that's really good that you brought that up, because yeah, growing up, LGBT stuff, that was all what's the word you said? Taboo. Like I'm Vietnamese, and Vietnamese culture, it is taboo. We just don't talk about it.
We don't talk. We like, if we do talk about it, it's very frowned upon like our parents, our grandparents. It's just something that we're not like safely able to talk about with family.
Yeah, they'd be like, why are you bringing that up?
Exactly. Yeah.
You must be gay. Like, and then that means you are going to hell, and you need Jesus, and you need to go back to church.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
no, like we're laughing, but at the same time, it's all very true.
Trauma.
Yeah,
it's all very true.
Trauma is being brought back up right now.
Yeah.
It might be like also a cultural thing, how maybe like Asian traditions, there wasn't as much like open gayness or open sexualities. I mean, as much as the Philippines or like any other Asian country is now. So I mean, at this point, all the parents should be like, okay, they're gay, okay, cool, that's it, it's 2021, you guys.
I think we're very lucky to be living in a time and a place where a lot of current societal standards are very accepted and very normalized, especially with sexual identity and sexual orientation. A prime example being University of Maryland itself, like you said about how like the campus itself is very diverse in both like racially and sexual orientation wise. So yeah, I feel like we're very lucky, and we were offered a very safe space with FCA and with the UMD community, that we're able to discuss these topics within like a safe bubble, without like free from judgment from everyone else.
Since we're like talking about like our sexual identity and like regarding like our community, especially like with college, I was actually thinking, like, do you think elementary school, middle school, maybe like high school education should start adding like a unit regarding like sexual identity? Because I know most of us had like most of the education, especially that I had when I was a 5th grader, they're like, oh, talking about like boobs and penises. But it's like, now thinking about it, like, oh, why didn't they talk about like sexual identity, like being lesbian or being like bi, or like curious into that like section? But thinking about it, it could be like a good unit for most of like elementary, middle school, high school students nowadays. And especially there's a lot of people who are very open about their sexuality, so it could be like a little bit harder for them to maybe like go through it with friends or by themselves. So maybe like having that kind of unit, especially in those the education now, it should be helpful in a way.
I totally agree, because I went to a Catholic elementary and middle school.
Oh.
And so the most sex education we got was, I feel like they threw a pack of tampons at us, and or not even tampons. That's not holy. They threw pads at us and was like, abstinence. Abstinence. And then the same thing in high school. Abstinence.
Like they were pushing for it.
Yeah, and also don't do drugs. That was a new thing in high school. I went to a public high school, so that was different. So at least they taught us like a little bit more that it was like, oh, you guys have puberty, that's a thing, and sex is a thing, but try not to do it. And don't do drugs, but here are the drugs that you shouldn't do.
Yeah.
That's what they did in high school
Yeah.
for me. And then in elementary and middle school, it was just, sorry, no, it wasn't even talked about in elementary school, but in middle school they were like, here's some pads, y'all are gonna get sweaty. Yeah, okay. Go to lunch. We have church on Wednesdays.
Oh my
And
goodness.
we had a religion class.
Oh, I've heard of that. Yeah.
We had a religion class, so I learned a lot about like the Bible, and I didn't learn about like sexual identity and how to have safe sex and etc. etc. I actually found out being gay was an option in high school, sophomore year of high school.
Wow.
Before that, I didn't even know that that's a thing.
Wait, really?
Yeah,
Like you weren't aware of
I
the
wasn't aware.
possibility?
Yeah, I didn't like guys like that, but I thought I had to because of movies.
Oh my goodness.
Like it's mainstream in movies and stuff to have a guy and a girl get together, like
Uh-huh,
Disney.
Yeah.
So I like made myself have crushes on guys
Mm.
because I thought that's what you're supposed to do, but it never felt right.
Mhm.
And like I liked hugging girls, but I didn't know why.
Aw.
Yeah.
Aw.
And it was in high school where I met, public high school, where I met some more gay people, and I was like, my mind was blown. And it was definitely hard because I had to do it all on my own because I can't talk about it with my parents or my brother. Really, he's younger than me by 4 years, so
Mhm.
and he's straight, so he didn't quite get it, and like we weren't close like that either back then. But I think it's crazy because I found out about my identity and I was trying to figure that out during this whole phase of like the internet booming. Like suddenly everyone had iPhones, and so like I could use the internet, and the internet was my teacher.
Mhm.
Like I'd go to YouTube for sex education and gender and sexual identity education, and sadly they'd be mostly like white YouTubers.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then I'd have like Asian YouTubers that I'd go to, like to feel relatable with being Asian, but they were always separate. They weren't like one thing, which is
What do you mean by that?
like they
By
weren't
separate?
also gay and
Gay and
Asian.
Asian.
They were either Asian
Uh-huh.
Or
and very straight,
Mhm.
or gay and very white.
I see.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was interesting. I
Mhm.
had to go to 2 avenues for that.
Mm.
And I was gonna say something, but I forgot.
I mean, yeah, but this is what I'm talking about. Like how Nazz, you said that you had to figure it out yourself, and there wasn't. Yeah, it must have been like really hard, and it shouldn't be, because it's like mostly what everyone will have to go through eventually, especially if you're going through middle school, high school. You're still figuring out yourself. So
I think in this day and age, since we're now living in like the 21st century, since everything is being more normalized, I feel like public schooling has a better chance of like changing their curriculum in terms of talking or having more opportunities to discuss about like sexual orientation and how people really feel. Because I remember when I was in elementary school, like what you guys said, it was a lot about like, oh yeah, you have puberty. Like as a guy, they were like, yeah, no, you're your your penis is gonna get bigger, like you're gonna grow hair in these places. And I'm just like, okay, nice. And then
They just throw some deodorant at you.
exactly, yeah, I remember. And I do remember that there was this one day in elementary school where all the girls got pads, and then I was
Okay, so I wasn't the only one.
no, it happened at my elementary school as well.
Did you go to public or?
Yeah, I went to public public elementary, middle, and high school. Mhm. And so when middle school came around, health education was geared as like middle school as well. It was also geared towards like puberty, but this is when we started discussing a lot more about like sex itself, and in terms of like contraceptive like methods and like family life, things like that. It wasn't to the extreme as your was it middle school or high school that they were like abstinence.
That was middle school.
Middle school, yeah.
And then high school was low-key abstinence.
low-key. In middle school, I had a wonderful health teacher, but she says abstinence is a very important like way to stay safe, but at the same time it's not the end all be all, because there are other methods out there, and like obviously it's a little unreasonable to, you know, stay abstinent your entire life unless that's what you want, which is also fine. But I'm just saying, like, for most people it's not in like a realistic standard, right? So yeah, that happened. And so basically her whole spiel was like, abstinence, but you can't have sex, just like not now, right? Yeah, I very much remember that. I remember that very vividly. And then high school came around, and high school was, for me, it was the biggest change of every single one of them, because a lot of my teachers in high school were part of the Alphabet Mafia.
Oh.
Yeah,
What a
which is
coincidence.
really, yeah, no, it was really insane.
I'm so jealous.
Yeah.
Oh,
Going
nice.
It's okay, yeah. But I remember my history teacher was really like a big push, like a really big advocate for the LGBTQ community at my school. I think she was the head of the club there.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. And then I remember she was before she left that high school, I remember she was talking about how she wanted to write the curriculum of an LGBT history class.
Oh,
Yeah.
my God.
So I think change is starting to happen. It's just like in like baby steps right now, right?
yeah.
So yeah.
Wait, that was when did she talk about that?
I remember this was around junior year or senior year of my high school time, so around like
Interesting.
2019. Yeah. So yeah, I believe she was writing the curriculum for that,
Yeah.
because she was really, really pushing it. I came into class and she was like, so like this is my progress on the curriculum.
That's so
Damn.
I'm just like,
funny.
wow, you're really passionate about this, and you know, I really love that.
That's
Because like there are a lot of open-minded people out there.
Yeah. Also, history is very important.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. The LGBT history especially is important. I can't speak of it right now because
Mhm.
I don't have good memory like that. But I just remembered what I was going to talk about earlier. 2016 was when gay marriage was
Legal.
like
Right.
same-sex
Oh,
marriage was
wow.
legalized. That was only in 2016.
Right.
I was only 16 years old
Mhm.
when I could finally. That was wild. That I.
That's so wild
to
that was
go
so
through that.
recent.
Yeah.
Like
right.
to think before 2016, it was illegal to have same-sex marriage.
Fucking illegal.
That's weird.
That's crazy.
That's so
Mhm.
weird just to think about that now.
Yeah.
And then how everyone is so, everyone's like accepting. And
Mhm.
then just thinking about that is like, what?
Hmm.
Yeah. But it's weird. To be honest, with the school sex education, they're very peer focused towards abstinence.
Mhm.
It's just abstinence. That's it. Like, don't do this, don't do drugs. That's it.
Yeah.
It's kind of a weird thing to think about it now, because now it's like, okay, don't have kids and don't do drugs, but we're gonna show you anyways.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what Jessica Fields was talking about in one of her articles about the school system, was how abstinence seems to be more important to teach to students, since it's something that'll happen more likely, since it's more of like a sexual activity than sex identity. But now thinking about it, like it seems to me that sex identity seems to be more what do you call it, more like more often, or like more
Normalized.
than like abstinence, because nowadays
Accepted.
people
Yeah.
aren't very, I don't know, our generation isn't dumb, okay? It's more of like, it's better just to focus on our sexual identity than having abstinence, since we've already been told like, okay, we'll do it safely, we already know how to do it.
I think this like brings up the idea of like allowing not children, but like the youth to discover themselves more, instead of like trying to mold them into something that maybe they weren't, or like they're not. Like in the case of Nazz, like she wasn't even aware that she she wasn't even aware that gay was a thing until high school,
Yeah.
which is absolutely insane to me. And so I feel like now that, you know, a lot of this is being a lot more normalized. It's very important to make sure that the children these days like understand like who they are on a personal level, instead of like again trying to force them into something they're not, right?
Yeah, and again, Jessica Field talked about how, like, being, what is it? She mentioned how, like, talking about, like, lesbian, gay teachers, parents, or even kids, they were forbidden, like, to talk about it in public schools at one point. It was somewhere in the U.S., which was,
to talk about what?
like, about if the teachers or parents or children were gay or lesbian that attended the public schools, they weren't allowed to identify that along with their gender.
Wow.
Yeah.
That was a thing in the army. I forgot what it was called. Don't ask, don't tell. The don't ask, don't tell policy. If they say that, if they revealed that they were like gay or trans or whatever, they'd get kicked out.
Yeah, I
Oh
heard
my
about
goodness.
that too. That's like, in a way, discriminating.
It is discriminatory.
Yeah.
Okay, discriminatory. They're very discriminatory towards like lesbian, gay people, which is very unfair. And also how
Alphabet Mafia.
Alphabet Mafia. Yeah. But definitely like how, you know, schools are always making us afraid of having sex when we should be more afraid about our sexual identity.
We shouldn't be afraid of it. That's the
Yeah.
whole thing. We should be more open to exploring it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Instead of being afraid of it and being closed-minded
Yeah.
and discriminating people and
Yeah.
like not treating them equally.
Because I feel like a lot of the xenophobia from people towards like this subject is because they don't really know a lot about it, you know? Yeah.
So it's like, I don't know, because it's more of like a social status thing now, because it was so frowned upon for so many years that it's just become its own thing. But now it's like the bubble for xenophobia. Somehow it's starting to shrink more because everyone's a bit more, you know, more open. I keep saying that. I'm so sorry.
No, it's
it
okay.
totally makes sense because
Yeah.
the internet, I think the internet being such a big thing as it is now, and everyone having access to it, like for example, like education and fashion, it's transcultural now, if that makes sense. Like everything
Mhm.
can influence anything. Like this podcast can influence someone in fucking Alaska.
Yeah, Alaska.
Shout out to all of my viewers from Alaska, viewers/listeners.
Do we even have
love
people
you.
from
We love
Alaska?
you.
We love Alaskans. Is that even a
I don't even know that's the correct way to refer to them.
Alaskans?
Yeah, if they be watching this, they can write down in the comments. No, we're actually Alaskians.
It's like, oh,
Yeah.
cancel. It's like,
Dang. We're gonna
Cancel
cancel our
them.
second episode. That's crazy.
yeah. Even like people saying like our vocabulary was very inspired by like LGBTQ community. Like,
Mhm.
I feel like the current slang, like through TikTok and all that people use now, it's influenced by like gay culture, but gay culture was influenced by black culture
oh yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
interesting.
and minority culture, and all goes around. Everything influences everything again.
Yeah.
It's really cool, and it's important to know the roots of
Of
where things come
course.
from.
For sure, yeah.
Oh, that was a lot. Let's see. I guess
It's a lot for one episode.
Yeah.
So, we should probably put like a warning.
No, we can keep going.
Keep going.
We can keep
Okay.
going.
I feel like we've already answered the fourth question. We might be running out of time.
I'd say like 45 is the limit.
Okay. Yeah, we can cut it from there. I guess we can answer this question. Has there been a time where you felt out of place when talking about taboo subjects such as like sexual education in a way with friends or family or whoever you're talking to?
Taboo as in like they did not give me the opportunity to talk about these subjects, and if I tried to, they shut me down immediately. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Let's go with that. Yeah.
Yes, as a Vietnamese or a person of Vietnamese descent, it was like what me and Nazz said earlier in the previous discussions. We are not, or like our parents and our family are not very open-minded to this subject, and I think the reason why is because it's just how they were growing up back in Vietnam. Just like the traditional ideals and aspects and traditions of like their life growing up was very, very closed-minded. Like, I know it sounds really bad to say, but honestly it was what it was. But the thing about how it's changing now is because now we live in a place that's so much more diverse and so much more accepting of like multiple different cultures, right? And so in that sense, things are changing like a lot for us, and for you know, just that the whole dynamic between family and like students and just youth itself. I feel like now family, like my family specifically, is very becoming more open to a lot of things. Like my mom divorced my dad. Like sorry,
Wait, that's no, I'm not saying I'm not like, oh my god, divorce. No, I'm saying like that's crazy, because in Vietnamese culture divorce is looked down upon, at least in Catholicism.
Oh, interesting.
I don't know if your parents, Vietnamese people, they're either Buddhist or Catholic.
Yeah, so my family is Buddhist, and so my mom divorced my dad at a really young age, but she remarried to a black person.
Ooh.
Yeah, so my stepdad is black. Yeah.
So this is mean your hat. No, get me.
Stop. Stop right now. But yeah, I think it's really good that these topics and these subjects are being more accepted, especially especially for like the older generation who came here knowing one thing, or like being exposed to like one thing, but now there's so much more, so like it's so diverse that the norm now is to like be accepting of others, right?
Yeah, that's very interesting. I agree. And I think I just contribute this back to the internet.
Yeah.
Like my parents also, they used to be very, very traditional, and if I was playing The Sims and I had two girl characters living in the same house, my dad was like, "What is that hell spawn of a game you're playing?" Like, he didn't even see them like what's it called, doing the woo woo or anything like that. Like, he just saw them living in a house, and I guess he had maybe like intuition that I could be, you know, gay, but like I didn't come out to him at the time, and he got so mad at me just for playing The Sims. So I was terrified to come out. But anyways, like a couple years later, and I have already come out to my dad. Like I had to like force my parents in a way to accept, like to be more open-minded, and also like the outer world changing, the environment changing, and becoming more open has helped them too. But my mom, she educated herself using the internet. She learned about, she called me she was like, "Oh, you're part of the ABC group, the ABC family," or like little good. Yeah, and so it's wonderful that slowly things are changing. And to all the little gay babies out there that feel like closeted and stuck, I implore you to hang in there.
It will be better.
I mean, this is why we need to update that sex education system.
Exactly. Yeah.
Please update it. Look at us. We have people going on the internet finding education for themselves. That's good, but like, come on, bruh.
They should have more guidance, especially as kids.
Yeah, definitely. And in the there's like this TED talk that I actually found on YouTube from Dr. V. He's like a health oh my god, what is that?
It's the automated like sense thing. Yeah.
He's actually a health worker, I think, for the NIH, but I might be wrong. But he talked in his TED talk about like how sex education hasn't even changed. The only thing that's changing is us, like, educating ourselves. So it's like, that helped me realize, like, oh wow, sex education in schools didn't really change. It's only our own mindsets that are changing at the time. And he also mentioned how there's no evidence that, sex makes you attractive or it harms your education. It's more of like enlightening you in a way and helping you grow as a person. And also like helping your peers like be more educated about the LGBTQ Alphabet Mafia community. So I think it'd just be great. They just need to update it ASAP, man.
Please.
ASAP. Okay. But yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's it. Thank you guys so much for listening to our second podcast. I hope that was entertaining. It got a little deep, but that's what she said.
Oh my gosh.
That's so crazy.
I couldn't help myself.
I know, it's okay. But yeah, we appreciate you guys. Hopefully this episode should be recorded so you can see all of our beautiful faces.
Yeah.
So yeah.
This is our first time doing it like this, so
It's a little bit awkward. I keep forgetting to.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm supposed to look at the camera or like look at each other.
If you guys have any topics that you want us to talk about, please leave it in the comments below or DM us at BuzzFCA on Instagram.
Indeed.
Yeah.
All
Like,
right.
subscribe, and comment.
Yes, be sure to ring the bell to be notified of every time we upload a new video.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Oh, we should be like, if you want to see our recent video, it's gonna be somewhere on David's face. Yeah, and subscribe. It'll be on me and Nazz's face. So please press the button.
I think that's
Thanks,
it.
guys. We'll see you next time. Bye.